Hi, everybody. This is a very important issue that everybody should know about. Um, I'm first going to have you look at the propaganda version of the story. Senate approves long-delayed food safety bill. Senate passed a food safety bill to give more power to the FDA on Tuesday, more than a year after the House of Representatives passed a similar measure. So it's long delayed. It should have been passed a lot sooner. A date for another House vote, this time to provide final passage of the Senate's version of the bill, has not been set. So it hasn't passed completely yet, but it will. A nonprofit advocacy group, Center for Science in the Public Interest, was one of the groups that released a report in September urging senators to pass the stalled bill. So scientists think this bill is good for you. At the time, the group said there had been 85 recalls of FDA-regulated food since the House of Representatives passed this version of the bill. The recalls were associated with 1,850 reported illnesses, the report said. So obviously, this is not a fault of the FDA. It's because the FDA doesn't have enough power over us. A bill called the Food Safety Enhancement Act covers many aspects of food safety, including better preventative control measures by manufacturers, more frequent inspections, da 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 da. So, CNN, the propaganda machine, tells you that this is just fine and dandy. Now, here is the other version, and this is from LouRockwell.com. So take it for what it's worth. It is a secondhand source, but I have pulled up some of the actual text from the Library of Congress website. So here is what's actually in the bill, and it's very, very alarming. Number one, all food production facilities in the United States will be required to register with the U.S. government. No food will be allowed to be grown, distributed, sold outside this bureaucratic framework unless the FDA allows it. Any food that is distributed or sold outside of the U.S. government control will be considered illegal smuggling. So the cucumbers that you grow in your backyard and bottle up and give to your neighbor as pickles, give your neighbor a jar of pickles, that is illegal. You are participating in illegal smuggling. The FDA will hire an army of new inspectors to enforce all the new provisions of the bill, and that's true. I have that highlighted here. Fiscal year 2010, it'll start out with 3,800 staff members, and by 2014, you will have 5,000 staff members. So this is a government program which will just grow and grow and grow. How much will it cost? By the way, this is from Library of Congress website. How much will it cost? The first year it's going to cost $825 million, and by 2014 it'll be anything we want it to be. We'll just print money to fund it, take more of your tax dollars. We're not going to tell you exactly how much it's going to cost, but it's going to be a lot. FDA will be mandated to conduct much more frequent inspections of food processing facilities. Yep, that's why they're hiring more people. The fees and paperwork requirements will be ruinously expensive for small food producers and organic farms. Sure, a $50,000 registration fee is nothing for a company like Monsanto, but to these small organic farms and these people who come to places like New York City and set up tents in Union Square and sell their honey and wine and whatever else, that will effectively put them out of business. They simply don't make that much. S510 would place all U.S. food and all U.S. farms under the Department of Homeland Security in the event of a major contamination or emergency. What exactly would constitute a contamination or emergency is anyone's guess. And here is also from the Library of Congress website. Let's see. Department of Homeland Security. Department of Homeland Security. In general, strategy shall include a description of the process to be used by the Department of Health and Human Services, the Department of Agriculture, and the Department of Homeland Security. Now remember, Department of Homeland Security was set up to supposedly protect you from foreign terrorists. Goals: the strategy shall include a description of the process to be used by the Department of Health and Human Services, the Department of Agriculture, and the Department of Homeland Security to achieve the following goals: conducting vulnerability assessments, mitigating vulnerabilities, improving communications, da 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 da. Let's go on. S510 mandates that the FDA facilitate harmonization of the American food laws with Codex Alimentarius, and from my understanding, Codex Alimentarius is just a like an international standard of food labeling and such. Imposes an annual registration annual registration fee on any facility that holds, processes, or manufactures food. It also includes draconian fines for paperwork infractions of up to $500,000 for a single offense. Just one penalty like that would drive a small food producer out of business. S510 would give the FDA tremendous discretion to regulate how crops are grown and how food is produced in the United States. Basically, small farmers and organic farmers will not be forced to farm exactly how the federal government tells them to. So if you have a regulation that says, oh, you have to have a certain acidity in the soil, and if you don't have that, the federal government can shut you down. It is feared that the U.S. government would soon declare that many organic farming methods are unsafe and would outlaw them. In addition, there is the very real possibility that at some point the U.S. government could decide that the only safe seed for a particular crop is a genetically modified seed and would require all farmers to use it. S510 would give the FDA power to impose a quarantine on a specific geographic area. Basically, the FDA would have the power to stop the movement of all food in an area where a quote-unquote contamination has been identified. This would be very close to being able to declare martial law. Will give the FDA power to conduct warrantless searches of the business records of small producers and organic farmers, even if there has been no evidence at all that a law has been broken. Papers, please, papers, please. Opponents of S510 believe that it would eliminate the right to clean and store seed. Therefore, control of the U.S. seed supply could be further centralized in the hands of Monsanto and other multinational corporations. So, there you have it. This has not passed yet, this bill, but it will. And it's just one more step on the road to tyranny. They control you, they control the money supply, they control your tax dollars, and they control food, among many, many other things. Anyway, take care.